I just wanted to take a quiet walk, to be alone with the tranquility of nature deep in the forest, to escape the chaos of life. It was a form of therapy for me. As the sun softly dipped behind the hills, I began walking under the trees. The sounds of birds offered me a melodic harmony, and the fresh air filled me with peace. Little did I know that day would change my life completely. As I rounded a bend, I saw him, a tall, dark, and striking figure. His broad shoulders and upright posture exuded a confident aura that immediately captured my attention. His eyes locked onto mine, and for a moment it felt as if time had stopped. "I wasn't expecting to run into someone here," he said, his voice deep and soft, with a hint of teasing. "Neither was I replied, a slight smile on my face, though storms were raging inside me. "Is it all right if I join you?" he asked, a self-assured smile on his lips. I hesitated for a moment, but a strange wave of courage surged within me. "Of course," I said, trying to hide my excitement as we began to walk side by side. Our steps were in sync, and even the silence between us felt meaningful. There was an indescribable energy in the air. We reached a clearing where the sun's rays filtered through the trees, casting beams of golden light on the ground. At that moment, something changed. The air felt heavier, more intense. He slowly stopped and turned to face me, his eyes locking onto mine. There was a dark desire in his gaze, and my heart began to race. "You're different," he said, his voice low and sincere. "There's something about you that affects me." With those words, he took steps toward me, quickly closing the distance between us. "I could say the same," I said, my voice trembling. He reached out, gently tugging a strand of hair from my face. His touch was electric, sending sparks through my skin as his fingers softly caressed my cheek. I felt like my heart might leap out of my chest. He took another step closer, and as his breath brushed against my face, I felt myself getting lost in the dark depths of his eyes. "You're beautiful," he whispered, and his lips met mine. The kiss was soft and gentle, but I immediately sensed the intense desire beneath it. With every movement of his lips, I felt myself getting drawn deeper. His hands slid to my waist, pulling me closer. My skin felt like it was on fire with every touch, and I could feel my body trembling in response. My hands instinctively reached for his chest, feeling the firmness of his muscles. His strength and presence both protected and captivated me. As his lips traveled down my neck, I was breathless, each kiss leaving a mark on my skin. "You're unique," he whispered in my ear, his voice brimming with longing. The distance between us had completely vanished. As I touched his chest, I noticed his eyes darken further. This desire-filled moment quickened my heartbeat, shutting the world out. As my hands glided upwards, the warmth of his skin burned my fingertips. He wrapped his arms around my waist, holding me tighter, making me feel both protected and utterly vulnerable. When his lips met mine again, the kiss was hungrier, more passionate. His hands roamed from my waist to my back, exploring every inch of my skin, leaving me breathless. As his lips traveled down my neck, his touches deepened each moment, taking me beyond my imagination. When his fingers brushed my hips, my body responded to his rhythm, and I was breathless. Every touch ignited a part of me. He leaned in closer, and as his kisses burned my skin, a moan escaped my lips. My hands roamed around his neck, threading through his hair, intensifying the magic of the moment. His skilled hands made every second unforgettable. "Everything makes sense when I'm with you," he whispered in my ear, sending a new wave of shivers through my body. I brought my hands to the buttons of his shirt, slowly opening it to reveal his bare chest. My heart raced as his passion became more evident. When he wrapped his arms around me, I felt completely surrendered to him. His warmth enchanted me. His hands gently glided down my back and then grasped my hips. When our eyes met, the electrical connection between us was indescribable. Being with you means everything, he said, his lips brushing against my skin, each word resonating within me. His warm breath flowed down my neck and onto my shoulder, urging me to draw closer. His fingers glided gently down my arms, caressing me, creating different waves of excitement with each touch. As I explored his strong arms, our lips met again. This kiss was more intense than the others, a blend of desire and emotional connection. Our bodies moved together flawlessly, our rhythm captivating. As my hand slid across his back, feeling the firmness of his muscles, I whispered, "No one has ever made me feel this way." He looked into my eyes and smiled softly. In that moment, as our emotions and desires peaked, it felt as if the rest of the universe had frozen. Every second we spent together brought us closer, and the softness I saw in his eyes indicated a profound connection, one that went beyond mere physical attraction. Eventually, as we caught our breath and lay in each other's arms, the silence of the forest enveloped us. As the sun disappeared behind the trees, I realized this moment was more meaningful than anything else in my life. "I will never forget this moment," he said, his voice still filled with passion. I smiled back at him, feeling as if I was truly living for the first time in my life. As the sun set deep in the forest, I knew that this moment had changed us, and we would never be the same again.